It should be noted that the negative impact of the environment or the exploration of oil and gas fields is provided not only with the direct mineral extraction, but also at the stage of hydrocarbon exploration. In the last decade and a half of the volume of geological exploration for oil and gas has significantly increased in the Russian Federation, and this is not surprising. In the current structure of the Russian extractive industry, the oil and gas industries occupy the leading positions. According to domestic and foreign analytical agencies, gas and oil account for approximately 56 and 25.5% respectively of the total discounted value of mineral raw materials in the suboil of our country. However, the West Siberian, Volga-Ural, Caspian and North Caucasian provinces, which began to be actively developed since the 1970s, are greatly depleted, worked out by about half, which necessitates the exploration of new large deposits, including the eastern regions and the first stage of the Krasnoyarsk region. This entity, which units Taimyr, Evenkia and the Krasnoyarsk territory since 2007, ranks the second place in Russia after the Tyumen region in terms of hydrocarbon resources. In geological exploration, there can be identified two principal types of objects affecting the states of the environment in the area of the proposed oil and gas field. The first kind of objects are geophysical profiles, the second, sites. Geophysical methods are most widely used in the exploration of oil and gas fields. They are based on the study of physical fields, gravitation, magnetic, electric, elastic vibrations, thermal, nuclear radiations. Measurements of the field's parameters are conducted on the surface of the Earth, land and sea, in the air and underground, in wells or mine workings. The obtained information is used to determine the location of geophysical structures or bodies and their main characteristics. This allows to choose the most appropriate direction for expensive drilling and mining operations and favorably improve their efficiency. At the same time, the so-called geophysical profiles are laid, necessitating deforestation, road construction on temporary crossings through the water bodies, and blasting in some cases. Let's look at the basic requirements for carrying out geophysical works in prospecting and exploration of oil and gas fields. Compliance with the requirements listed below can significantly reduce the negative impact of the natural environment. In order to reduce the damage to the water protection zone and reservoirs, the following environmental requirements are established during ecological exploration while searching for oil and gas fields. Crossing points should be selected on the gentle banks of river in order to prevent their clogging with industrial and domestic waste. It's prohibited to build a ferry crossing through streams and rivers by damming up the riverbed with trees, ground, which can lead to the formation of a dam. To reduce the negative impact on the environment during the cutting of glades and the conduct of geophysical work, the following is provided: timely cleaning of the glades and the adjacent strips from fallen trees and twigs. Profile design should be carried out with the using of large and medium-scale topographic maps of more accurate anchoring to the terrain. In the course of work, the existing roads and clearings investigates maximum utilization, limit logging operation in water protection zones. The departure of equipment beyond the profile is prohibited. To minimize harmful emissions into the atmosphere, exploration campaigns are required to establish control of the toxicity of exhaust gases through periodic testing and adjustment of fuel equipment. In addition, it's prohibited to burn waste lubricants in trenches. It must be the pushed into a special container and taken out for disposal. At the drilling stage, the environment is emitted with much more harmful substances and the greater change in the initial conditions of the territory occurs. Then, drilling initiative selection of oil in a large scale from high porosity sand reservoirs leads into a significant reduction in reservoir pressure. Is pressure of oil, gas, water, through the equilibrium of the lithosphere is disturbed, is the geophysical environment is being destroyed. In order to maintain reservoir pressure is injection of surface water and various mixtures into reservoirs into widely used, which leads a complete change in the physico-chemical situations in them. In emergency situations, while often following gas, oil or water, as well as during mud can pour out onto the surface and directly pollute the surrounding environment, soil, sand, surface water, atmosphere, vegetation. In the process of drilling wells, even without in violation of technology, drilling fluids enter the porous rocks, as well as penetration of the filtrate of solutions into near well space. Such highly toxic gas as, for example, hydrogen sulfide can come from the well as emerge from the solution. Torches are ecologically dangerous in which the unused associated petroleum gas burns. The use of wedgeless, especially tractors technology for drilling preparation and drilling operations cause disturbance of the soil layer as well as vegetation of the sites. Descends exhaust gases into the atmosphere, for timely prevention of irreversible impact of the environment, while concluding searches of explorations of oil and gas fields, it's necessary to carry out geoecological monitoring. Observations, assessment, and prediction of the environment state for studying changes caused by man-caused activities are the main goal of geoecological monitoring. Within the industrial sites of prospecting wells, it's necessary to carry out a delayed analysis soil contamination levels of the most vulnerable components of the natural environment. In the initial stage of drilling operations, preparatory and construction and installation works, the level of pollution can be characterized as minimal. As a rule, for this period, the main pollution is recorded in the territory of the drilling site and chemical repository. The main pollutants are chromine and petroleum products. In the future, at the stage of drilling and testing wells, the level of man-made impact increases. Soil pollution, as a rule, already forms sand normally, located almost in the central part of drilling sites and covers warehouses of combustive lubricating material and slug burns. A stage of conservation of wells, including reclamation work, the content of metals in the soil of industrial sites is reduced to almost background values. However, at single points, wellhead chemical repository, as a rule, concentrations of some pollutants can be significantly increased. To minimize the negative consequences while drilling wells, there is a need of comply with a number of requirements that are established for each specific case. For example, fuel of oil well houses required for equipment operation must meet the following requirements. Mobile warehouses of combustive lubricating materials and individual containers for its storage must be leak-proof, have serviceable valves and trays for collecting fuel and oils in case of leaking in the tank. The storage area for combustive lubricating materials is provided with fire extinction and spill response equipment, dry sawdust sand and sawdust impregnated with oil products, while eliminating their spills should be collected in a metal box. The materials were prepared with the use of Tatiana Petrovna Yakoleva's article, Geological Aspects of Exploration Work of the Example of the Soil and Gas Fields in Eastern Siberia.